for goals, scouting for goals. We want the finish, we want the goal. Scouting for goals, scouting for goals. Say it with us now, let it unfold. Scouting for goals. Scouting for goals.
Hello and welcome to the Scouting for Goals podcast, episode 7. We're on 7 already, mate. Now, before we start off how we normally do. Obviously, we've got a new setup, but this isn't going to be the mic we're going to use. We've had some teething problems, haven't we, setting it up? I've ordered the wrong part, so that should be up and running for next Sunday. Fingers crossed. But yeah, you can see us. So hello. I hope your phones haven't all cracked because of my ugly face. But yeah, I'm James, obviously. Big Dog.
Big Dog, how we doing?
And Dean's ditched us for the first time. So, I mean, you and Dean are equal now.
Yeah, it's 1-1 now.
So
he's in the woods.
He's in the woods on his own. That's where he is, actually. He's just sat there contemplating, where's the podcast, guys? Yeah. So hopefully the three of us will be available next week. We'll have a much better setup than this because we've had to use a wired mic and, but you can see us. So I suppose
it's an upgrade.
We've had, so we've got an upgrade and that's all good. Now, obviously this mic isn't really for holding. It's got a big stand on look. So if at any point you can hear like the air going past it, hopefully you won't. But if you do, just bear with us because from next week, that should all be sorted, shouldn't it? How are you doing anyway? Sort of glossed over how you are. You had a good week?
Yeah, very good week. Yeah, I'm looking forward to another podcast week. And to be fair, I'm liking the upgrade. So yeah, I'm a big fan of this.
You've bailed me out already today, haven't you? With the phone stand, the wire. I didn't even bring a wire for it. So no, it should be good. And hopefully once the new, we won't split. It's not that exciting probably, but I find it exciting. Once we get the new upgrade in, we'll look a lot more professional, won't we?
Yeah, getting ready for the World Cup.
Indeed. In fact, talking of the World Cup, Germany Curacao is on currently, and it's 7-1 Germany. So, I don't think Curacao are going to come back from this, are they?
Bar a 2-minute, 6-goal thriller. No, I don't think so.
But should we crack on with the episode?
100%, yeah.
Lovely. Now, let's go back a bit. Let's ignore the World Cup for just 2 minutes. It's been an interesting week for Wolves, hasn't it? And obviously Dean's not here, which is a shame because he's been ranting about it all week, hasn't he? They've obviously they signed Trippier, didn't they? They've signed Jimenez. He's made a return, and then was it a day after Jimenez joined? They sacked Rob Edwards, didn't they?
Yeah. And
apparently Trippier's come out. Well, I don't know how true this is, but apparently Trippier's come out and said he's not happy now that they've sacked Rob Edwards. But it's quite a unique situation, and obviously neither of us are Wolves fans, so it's hard for us to chat about it from a Wolves perspective as such. But what's your initial reaction to that news?
I think I was surprised, like most Wolves fans, and across the country. I don't think anyone was expecting it, to be honest. I think we're obviously Trippier coming in and Jimenez coming in. There was no indication at the time that Rob Edwards would be leaving, and obviously the acquisitions that they made. I mean, they're both good Premier League level players, and I think with Rob Edwards, any manager that went into that Wolves job last season. At the point that he came in, I think it was pretty much nailed on that he was going to get Wolves were going to go down anyway. So I'm surprised they've done it now. I think the timing of it wasn't the best.
It's an interesting time when you've signed two marquee players like that, and I can't remember which one it was. Dean was telling us, but one of them said that one of their main reasons for joining was because of Rob Edwards. So then to sack him not long after doesn't make much sense to me.
Well, that's it. I think it was mainly Kieran Trippier, wasn't it? The one that was talking to Rob Edwards. And he even said it in his interview when he signed that it was one of the main reasons was the manager. So yeah, I am a bit surprised by it. I'm not surprised the manager that they've been linked with, which is another Portuguese.
From Jill Vincent, I think.
Yeah, that's
Which
it.
is,
Yeah,
I mean, Blues signed a player from there last year that Kanya Fujimoto barely played.
yeah,
So it'd be interesting whether he tries to poach him off us, which
yeah.
would be typical Blues because he'd go on and be best player for them. Just be written, wouldn't it? It's an interesting one because he's a couple of Portuguese fans were saying on Twitter or X as it's now called that they don't even rate him very highly. So it's a bit of a weird. I don't quite understand the thinking behind it, if I'm honest. Um, let's move on from the manager aspect. Raul Jimenez, what a signing that is for Wolves. I mean, he scored the other day, didn't he, in the World Cup?
Yeah, yeah.
He's going to be, in my opinion, quality for the Championship. I mean, we've got some of his stats here, haven't we? He was obviously at Wolves for five seasons, and in 5 seasons he scored 40 goals in 135 games with 18 assists. So 58 goal contributions in 135, all of them coming in the Premier League as well. And that's including the 2021 season where he picked up that serious skull injury. Do you remember? So the fact that he's come back, he's still playing football. I mean, he's just scored at the World Cup. After that injury was phenomenal anyway, let alone still picking up them numbers after. I mean, he got 4 goals that season and 6 to follow him. So I think it'll be superb signing for the Championship. I don't know about you, but I think him alongside Trippier, a lot of added experience for that Wolves team. What do you think?
Yeah, to be honest with you, I think it's a very shrewd acquisition from Wolves. Obviously, he's not the player that he was maybe a couple of years ago when he was in his prime at Wolves. But you know, the player of his quality going into a Championship when Wolves have probably got a decent enough squad to probably come straight back up as it is. So having him added to that, obviously they've got Armstrong still there up top as well. I think it can only be a good thing for Wolves, to be honest with you, mate. And yeah, I think it's a very good signing.
No, that'd be good. That will. So the next part was going to be we're going to ask Dean, but obviously he's not here, so we'll just summarise what he said on Messenger, which is it's got a few expletives in. Basically, what our Wolves doing was effectively what he said, weren't it? So I don't think he was best pleased. Let's put it that way. But it'd be interesting now who they bring in, because are they going to do what they did when they got relegated the first time and look overseas for these Portuguese players, or are they going to go for experience? Because in the Championship, experience goes an awful long way. I mean, you look at Wrexham last year, on paper, their team was nowhere near top 6. Experience-wise, it was, and it nearly got them playoffs as well. So it'd be interesting what sort of avenue they go up. But knowing Wolves, I mean, they've gone Portuguese manager. It wouldn't surprise me if they try all of that again, to be honest. I mean, last time they did that, they signed Neves, didn't they? They signed Jota. Who else who was the other one? They signed
Coutinho.
Yes, Miguel Matinho, yeah. So it'd be interesting, definitely. And I think so far, Wolves they haven't really lost anyone. Is it João Gomez? He was linked to Atletico Madrid. Apparently that's fallen through because Wolves wanted too much. So currently, obviously a lot is to change, but currently Wolves have a very, very solid Championship team.
And they've just signed Andre on a long-term deal.
Yeah, and that was massive. He'll be the best midfielder in the Championship next season. But yeah, pretty much wraps up what's happened in the football world. There's not really much else to talk about. I've seen a rumour about Salah allegedly contemplating going back to Liverpool now Schlott's gone. Don't know whether you've seen it.
No, I haven't.
Have you not? There's not much truth in it then.
No, I don't see it happening. As much as I'd love him to come back, no, I don't see it happening.
No. Well, that's a shame, isn't it? It'd be nice to have him for another year. So let's talk about the World Cup friendlies for England before we talk about the World Cup games. Did you watch the game the other day or not?
I watched a bit of the Costa Rica game. I didn't watch the first game, but I watched the last 20 minutes of the Costa Rica game.
Well, I managed to watch both, and I think New Zealand, I think we touched on this last week, we looked hot. You could tell we were fatigued really quick. We didn't look awful. I've seen us play better. We didn't look awful. Whereas when we played Costa Rica, it was Wednesday, weren't it? It was the day before the World Cup started. When we played Costa Rica, there was a lot more energy there. He had his strongest players. So we had Royce there, didn't we? Because obviously he missed the New Zealand game. So we looked a lot better. It was actually, I thought it was a decent performance against Costa Rica, because Costa Rica aren't as bad as a team as people make out. But it was a lot better, and I think Tuchel said he was happy with it. But it was just a lot more intensity, a lot more energy. And to be honest, Costa Rica were lucky that it was only 3-0. I thought we could have smashed them 5, 6, maybe even 7, the chances we created. What did you make of the second half? Or the game
from the bit that I've seen, I thought they were terrific. I mean, I was speaking to my friends, and he was saying that
You have friends.
yeah, well, by yourself, yes, and Dean. I think there was a stat saying that we had 30 odd shots the whole game. To Costa Rica's like 2 or 3, I think. I mean, obviously he played the main team. What I think is probably very close to the starting 11 he's going to pick for on Wednesday. I mean, if they play like that, they've got a real good chance of going really far in the tournament. But from the bits I've seen and from what I heard, they were really good.
Yeah.
So yeah, hopefully that will continue onto Wednesday.
Well, I saw a stat earlier in the week when I was sorting out the script with all the stats on and stuff. And there was a stat that said, out of all the countries that have qualified for this year's World Cup, we've had the 4th furthest distance to travel. So it's like a total round trip, it was measured apparently. And our distance was, 8,948 kilometres. Now, obviously, you've got teams that haven't travelled as far as that. Obviously, a lot of the South American countries are closer. Mexico, obviously, Canada, a lot closer than that. Do you think that could have an impact on the squad? And because of where our training ground is, well, where the players have been training prior to the tournament, our first 3 matches are a lot further away. We've got a lot of flying to do just to get to the first, second, and third group stage game. Do you think that's going to take its toll on the players in terms of how tired they feel and fatigue and that type of thing?
I think it will have some form of effect on them. Definitely. I mean, you've got some of the players that obviously the Arsenal players that have just had the Champions League game a couple of weeks ago as well. So I think, I don't know if you'll see it straight away, but I think definitely as the tournament continues, you might see a bit of a strain on some of the players. Not just obviously from the English side. You've got obviously the other European teams as well. I think obviously you've got the likes of like I said, the Arsenal players. You've got the other European teams as well that have just finished their seasons. I think at some point it will have an effect on them. Yeah, definitely.
It will. I mean, to be fair, since we've got to America, we haven't had much luck, have we? There was a shooting near the training base, apparently, not long after we got there. Then did you see about all the gear got stolen?
Yeah,
Yeah.
With the training kit.
Yes,
I did see that. Yes, that's it. Yeah.
Apparently, we've got most of it back, but obviously we've had that as well.
They're going to play naked, aren't they, for next week?
Can you imagine? Jesus Christ, Harry Kane just. Oh man. But no, apparently we've got most of it back. But since we've got there, we've had a bit of a torrid time with things like that. One positive about it all, though, is Tuchel's basically come out and said, previous tournaments, we've played not to lose. England have gone out onto a pitch and been scared to lose because of the pressure surrounding them. He said, this tournament, we're not doing that. We're playing to win. So depends how you interpret it, but from that, I would imagine we're going to play a lot of attacking football and we're just going to be going for the win 9 times out of 10. Obviously, game management and stuff will play into it. But I think that's a lot more positive than what we were doing under Southgate. And look where that got us, to be fair. 2 Euros finals, lost them both, admittedly. But, I mean, if Tuchel's going to make us play more attacking, which is what we've all wanted when Southgate was in charge, then it's a bit positive, isn't it, going into it? And on top of it, Jude's come out and said that previous tournaments, I think we were all under the illusion that they were a lot more together. There was a togetherness. Apparently, according to some of the players, it wasn't as together as what was made out by Southgate, but they feel that now they actually feel like a unit. They feel like a massive, like they're a big team rather than players from individual teams. You know what I mean? So that can only be positive for the national team. But from the games you've seen, and from some of the how the players have performed in the friendlies, where do you still think we'll finish in this World Cup? Because didn't you say, was it semi-finals? You said an episode or two ago.
Yeah, I think I said they can go deep into the tournament. Like I said, I think in my opinion, I had four or five teams that I could say that could go on and win it, and England, in my opinion, is definitely one of them.
Yeah.
Like you just touched on earlier, with if he's going to play more attacking football, I think what I want to see from England is, rather than them worrying about the other team, is them focus on themselves.
Yeah.
Because I think the thing is with Southgate before, as much as I think Southgate was a brilliant man manager, I always think it was, especially in the last two finals, that he worried about what the other team was doing rather than actually focusing on what we were doing. And the new, I mean, like I said, I think our starting 11 is a very, very good starting 11. I think you look at the balance of that team all round on that pitch. I think you can say that they are very good players. And like I said, like you just said about the attacking quality, we've got that in abundance. I mean, we've got players off the bench that can make a difference.
Yeah,
as well.
Exactly.
So yeah, I'd like us to focus on ourselves. But I think we could. I'd like to think we can go on and win it, but I think we can go very far into the competition.
Nice. I mean, it's a shame Engamo's not going, because he's had a solid couple of games, hasn't he, for England? And he scored apparently we played a behind closed doors game against Miami City or whatever they're called. And he scored a screamer in that, apparently. So he'll no doubt he'll be at the next major tournament for England, won't he? But what we'll do now is we'll talk about the actual World Cup and some of the games that have happened so far. So obviously it started on Thursday. The first match was Mexico, South Africa. I don't think there was any real surprise, really. I mean, it was the same fixture that started the 2010 World Cup. So it was a bit nostalgic, I suppose. And that fixture was when, like we touched on last episode, Shabalala scored in that 1-1 draw. Mexico came out on top, didn't they? 2-0. But the biggest talking point was the 3 red cards that game. I mean, I think it was the whole of the last World Cup in Qatar. There was four red cards the whole tournament. We've had 3 in one match. Did you watch the match, first of all, before I ask you?
No, unfortunately, I haven't been able to watch any of them yet.
Have you seen any of the red cards?
I've seen the very last one, which was the most controversial one, apparently, out of the 3.
Yeah. For me, the first red card, penalty. He was last man. Sound, got no problem with that. Second one's a bit of an awkward one. The South Africa player is the Mexico player sort of jockeying and blocking one of the South African players for making a run. And I don't think he does it intentionally, but he sort of tries to get him out of the way, and it looks like he hits him in the face. Straight red. Bit harsh, in my opinion, because he was being blocked. And then the third one is just, yes, he's mistimed a tackle, but I don't think he was. It's whether it was classed as denying a goal scoring opportunity. Do you think it was, honestly?
I've seen them given. I've definitely seen them.
Do you think it was a goal scoring opportunity? Personally, I don't think it was.
It was no. I don't think whereabouts it was on the pitch. No, I don't think it quite was. But
it's a foul.
Yeah,
it's 100% a foul. But it's definitely a red card.
I don't know whether the referee was trying to even the playing field a little bit. He was being very card friendly at the time. But no, it's one of them. It's sort of 50-50 for me.
It's an interesting one. Yeah. I mean, I forgot, was it Cesar Montes, I think, who got the red card for Mexico? He had a class game for him as well, so it'll be a big miss for them going into the next game. I don't know who they've got, if I'm honest. But So obviously we've had that. Did you hear? You obviously didn't watch it, but the first water break in the first half, I was sat there. I was having a chippy while I was watching it, right? And all of a sudden, I just hear this music, and you know the taxi music on GTA. I can't remember. I don't even know what the name of the song is. You'll know which one I mean. That came on.
That tune, yeah.
Yeah, that came on. It just made me laugh because obviously, well, to be fair, I thought it was Mexican, but I didn't want to presume. It was just the fact that they've played it at a drinks break at the World Cup. It just cracked me up. So it was quite funny. Yeah, that one. Yeah. Where do you want to go? Yeah, that one. Yeah.
And the Indian guy, yeah, as well. Yeah, he just pops out in a Mexican
Yeah.
tournament. Yeah, as you do.
Then obviously Friday, 2 a.m. Stayed up to watch this one. South Korea against Czechia. Great comeback from South Korea. And to be fair, the only reason I watched that one was purely because Paik Sung-ho was starting. So, and I'll tell you what a player he is. Best player on the pitch.
Not Heung-min Son, but Paik Sung-ho.
I'll tell you what though, Son was good. Considering, like, you know, he's getting on a little bit now and he's in America. He looks sharp still, looked very sharp. But it was a good comeback. And I'm going to say, and we'll touch on this later, but I'm going to say they're going to be my dark horse for this tournament. I think they look very organised. You know, they've got some good individuals, but the thing is with like Korea, they work well as a unit very well. It doesn't matter who you play for, does it? There's no like, I'm trying to think of the right word for it. There's no grudges between players, like there would be in the England team if you played for like back when like Gerrard and you know Rooney and that were there. If you were Liverpool and they were United, you wouldn't speak. It was very like separate. Whereas I think with teams like Korea, they're a big unit, aren't they? They're all friends. Doesn't really matter who they play for. And I think that's one of the reasons I think they'll do quite well. I think they'll definitely get out of the groups. But yeah, so there was that one. Canada Bosnia weren't the most exciting game I've ever watched, but I got Canada at the work sweepstake. So there was that. I haven't got much to comment on that one, to be honest.
I didn't watch that game myself, so
have you not watched any?
I haven't been able to watch any. The only one I've been able to watch so far is the Brazil-Morocco game properly. And obviously a little bit of the Germany game that we've just currently had on. But bar that, unfortunately, I haven't been able to. No.
We then had USA-Paraguay, which was at the time the biggest win of the World Cup, 4-1. America don't look bad, do they? But, I mean, Paraguay looks shocking. And bar Almiron, is he even at the World Cup, Almiron?
No, I'm not too sure, to be honest.
I can't remember.
Newcastle
Yes.
Bar him. I think he'd be there. Yeah, I don't know any other players from Paraguay, actually.
Bar him. I don't really know any Paraguay players. Qatar won, Switzerland won. Qatar scored in the last minute, 95th minute, and that's their first ever World Cup point. So well done to Qatar.
And it was a great header, by the way.
It was a cracking header, man. Yeah. Captain as well. But I think Qatar haven't got a bad team. I mean, they've got that Akram Afif, you know, the guy with like the Afro-y type hair. He's a good little winger. He is. I rate him. But they're not that bad of a team, to be honest. There's worse teams than them in this tournament.
Well, we're seeing that today with Germany.
Well, exactly. Well, after the Qatar-Swiss game, there's Brazil-Morocco. You can finally talk on this one.
Yes.
It was a difficult game because Morocco are quite underrated. They've got some very good players, haven't they? Like Hakimi, for instance. What did you make of Brazil's performance?
Well, from what I watched, I must admit the first 20 minutes, Morocco absolutely peppered them. I mean, they were unlucky to not be 2 or 3-0 up by that point, mate. I've got to be honest. I said to you last week or the week before, I didn't have Brazil as one of the favourites, and I still stand by that, to be honest with you.
They've got a good attack, but they lack in other positions, don't they, too much, I think.
I mean, you look on paper with some of the players that they've got. I mean, the defence, where you know they had Alisson in goal and then Marquinhos and Gabriel at the back, and you think that is a solid unit defensively. And like you said, the attackers, they've got Vinicius and Rafinha on the wings, Bruno Guimaraes in the middle, and players like that. And you think, on paper, that team should be going far, but there's just the feels as if there's something there that they're not quite the same Brazil of old.
No. I mean, they've got Ancelotti as manager, so they've got a good manager. They haven't got an awful team. Neymar's obviously back in it. I know he's a bit older now.
And he's had an injury as well.
Neymar's always injured though, isn't he? Let's be honest. But on the flip side, Morocco looked great, didn't they? They looked sensational.
Yeah.
I mean, I think they'd be the other dark horse potentially of this tournament. I mean, I don't know the actual run they could get, but I don't know whether I'd fancy England against them. I think we'd give them. I think we could beat them. We should beat them. But they looked hungry, didn't they? And drawing 1-1 against Brazil is only going to boost your confidence, especially first game. I mean, I don't know who. Do you know who else is in that group off the top of your head?
They've got Scotland and Haiti, haven't they?
So they should, in theory, go through. But currently they're third, aren't they, in that group? Because Scotland picked up a 1-0 win against Haiti. John McGinn scored that. Have you seen that goal?
I think I saw it took a deflection.
Yeah. It weren't the worst goal, weren't the best goal, but yes, I think that's Scotland's first World Cup win since, is it the 90s when they were last in it?
Yeah.
I don't know. That's if they even won then.
There was a stat. It's been years, hasn't it? It's
been a long time.
Because I was thinking, well, they've celebrated like they've won the World Cup, but then when they told me how long
they had to wait for it,
been since in the World Cup,
and
obviously win their first game, and I can understand why they celebrated like that.
So we've got some big games coming up this week. The first one, which is happening tomorrow, is Spain against Cape Verde. Now, Spain are one of the favourites. They should beat Cape Verde, shouldn't they? You'd like to think. What's your score prediction for that one?
Oh, score prediction.
Bearing in mind Germany have just won 7-1 against Curacao, can you see it being a similar sort of result?
Yeah, no, I wouldn't be surprised if it's on that, if it's around that score line. It'd be interesting to see how Spain play, to be honest. I think, like you say, they're one of the favourites. So, obviously, if they can play to their ability, then it could be that sort of score line.
Yeah. So obviously that's tomorrow. Then on Tuesday you've got France versus Senegal, which on paper it can be fairly close, and that they've only ever played each other once in a major international tournament. Was it 2002? Have I written it down here? Yeah, 2002. Senegal won 1-0. So France have never beaten them in an international tournament. It'd be a shock if that was to happen again, wouldn't it? With France being arguably the favourites into this tournament.
Yes and no, because I think Senegal are a little bit like Morocco in terms of they only just won the AFCON. I know there's obviously all the controversy around that, but they're no slouches. You look at the players that they've got in that Senegal team. Yes, okay, France would be the outright favourites, but you wouldn't be surprised if Senegal got a result from that either, to be honest with you.
I mean, a draw would be very good for them, wouldn't
100%. It? Yeah, I mean, like you say, you look at that group as well, because obviously they've got Norway in that group as well, and I think I can't remember the
Norway have a chance, I think, of going through in that group.
I think that's one of the toughest groups.
Well, this was going to touch me onto the next bit a bit later in the podcast, but we'll do it now because of the amount of teams that are in this tournament now. It's a lot less likely for you to get a group of death because obviously the teams that aren't as good have come into it. They're going to help fill up some of the other groups. But is it Group I that they're in? I have written it down. Group I believe it is. Might be on another page. That's by far the hardest group, isn't it, in the tournament? It's France, Senegal, Norway, and I think Iran or Iraq. As the other one, yeah, Group I, France, Senegal, Norway, and Iraq. It's probably the hardest group in the tournament. Out of them four, who can you see going through?
Definitely not Iraq. Yeah.
If you're from Iraq, I'm sorry.
Sorry, Iraq. But yeah, definitely not you.
I don't think we've got any listeners from Iraq.
No. Well, unless we branch out to that part, I don't know yet. I would say France and Senegal, but I wouldn't be surprised if Norway get in there as well.
From an England perspective, how amazing would it be for France not to go through? That'd be sensational, wouldn't it? I can't see it happening, but there's always at least one or two shocks.
Yeah.
I'm just hoping it's not us. Because that was my next bit, was obviously Wednesday, we've got two big games. You've got Argentina, Algeria. Argentina obviously won the last World Cup, Messi's first World Cup, wasn't it? I don't think they'll get past quarters. I don't think
Argentina.
I don't think they'll get to the semis. And then obviously later on that evening, I believe we're going to the pub to watch it, aren't we? England against Croatia. Obviously for us, biggest game of the tournament so far. What's your score prediction for that one against Croatia? Because I think I put it in our group, didn't I? There is a rumour, and I hate it when teams get leaked. I absolutely hate it. But there is a rumour that Gahey is not starting that game, and it's going to be a back two of Concert and Stones, which is a bit of a shock because, I mean, I don't think any of us, when we predicted our lineup, had left Gahey out. I mean, I know I put Stones and Gahey together. You and Dean put Gahey and Concert together. So to leave Gahey out altogether is a bit of a shock. That's if these rumours are to be believed. But what I don't know. Yeah, what's your score prediction?
Oh, to be honest, that's a tough one to tell because first game of the World Cup. It'll be interesting to see because obviously Croatia aren't no slouches. Okay, yes, they're so-called better players like Luka Modric aren't getting any younger.
I knew a bit of a bogey team for England.
And obviously, they've been a bit of a bogey team. And if you go on England's friendly games, obviously bar those two games that you mentioned earlier, obviously the two before that, the likes of Japan, where we lost. The first game's always tough to tell. I mean, you see with Argentina last World Cup, they didn't start off the best, and then they go on and win the World Cup, don't they? My head's telling me 3-0 England. My heart probably scraping a 2-1 win or something like that, to be honest.
I think it'll be close.
Yeah.
And I think it's always nerves, isn't it? The first game. It's probably the worst game to have because it's nervous. You got, there's people watching. It's our hardest group game, I would say. A win for England would be massive, obviously. But it would take a lot of weight off our shoulders. I think if we lose it or even draw it, pressure's on even more for that second game. That's when we struggle. Like when we went out, was it the 2014 one where us and Italy went out and Costa Rica and I forgot the other team now, but they both went through. And that was all because we lost the first game to Italy and then failed to win the second game. And it was just, pressure was like rising, wasn't it, every game? So for England, we need to win it comfortably, 2-3-0, even 3-1. And I think that'll help settle the nerves a little bit going into the second and third group stage games. I'd like to think we'd win, and I think we've got the ability to win. But as always with England, it's how we deal with the pressure, isn't it? So let's look at potentially England's World Cup run, right? So you heard of Opta before? You have. So they've got a supercomputer, right? And it's not always correct, but this is what it's predicted for us. If, and obviously it's a big if, we top the group, then this is obviously if other teams come second and whatever. So it's not just reliant on our results. But most likely, if we top the group, we will come up against Senegal in the round of 32. If we win that, we then play one of the hosts, Mexico, in the round of 16. So far, not too bad. Then in the quarterfinal, again, this is if all the teams you'd expect to win won, Brazil in the quarterfinal, which normally you'd panic. But I think we could beat Brazil, especially with that performance last night. I would fancy us. Brazil might not even get that far based on that performance yesterday. But I'd like to think we could beat Brazil. Should we beat Brazil, we then play another South American team in Argentina. That's a bit more tricky. Do you think if we got that far and this is what happened, could you see us beating Argentina in the semis?
Well, like I said, I don't think any of the South American teams will go as far as me being bold. Obviously, it depends how how it works out with the groups and how it falls. I couldn't see the South American teams going as far as the semi-finals. But yeah, in answer to your question, then yes, I think we could beat both Argentina and Brazil.
Well, interestingly then, should that be the case, Opta has put us to play Spain in the final. So they reckon Spain will beat France. And then it'll be like the Euros all over again, won't it? Whether we'll beat Spain's tricky because they've got the likes of Yamal, Williams, yeah, of course.
Pedri.
Yeah, they've got a solid team, and it's again the pressure. They've won the Euros. They've coped with that pressure before. That's probably our biggest game. But in previous tournaments, we've got to the semis and the final. We haven't actually had to beat anyone massive to get there. This year, unless there is no upsets, which I don't think will happen, we'd have to beat Brazil and Argentina to have any chance of getting to the final. So at least we've got a few more of the big dogs to play. I mean, again, this is all according to Opta. This might not happen, but France are predicted to beat Sweden in around the 32. Predicted to then beat Colombia in around the 16. Germany, France. They've said France will come out on top in that. And then Spain will beat them in the semi-final. So it'll be interesting where Spain's running. Let's have a look. So Spain would have beat Morocco in the round of 32. That won't be an easy game for Spain. If Spain top their group and Morocco comes second, that won't be easy. Spain, Morocco. And Morocco will be used to the heat just as much as Spain will. So that might be closer than some think. Spain, Netherlands. Spain should be able to beat Netherlands, shouldn't they? Spain, Belgium. Another team. I remember, was it like 10 years ago? Belgium had some of the best wonder kids in the world. It just never sort of happened for them, did it? Which is a shame.
No,
and then
not.
obviously in the semi-finals, predicted to play France. So, I mean,
That could quite easily be in the final.
Yeah, it could. But the good thing is, I don't think it'd be possible for us to be playing Spain or France unless we got to the final. So that's one positive of it. But in order to get there, we've got to beat more of the big teams. Which, to win the tournament, you've got to beat the best teams. So no problem with that at all. Again, this is all according to Opta, right? So they have something called, I'm going to have to read this because I haven't done it before, something called the Opta Power Rankings, right? And it's effectively a ranking system on who has the best squad in the tournament. So it's based off how many players are playing in the top league, player values, all of that type of stuff, really. So it's not the most accurate. However, according to that, England have the best squad at the tournament. Minutely, but Opta have said that we have the best team. However, we have also got the most players from the Premier League. So that's going to ultimately boost up our ranking. Spain second. Now, this is where it's a bit controversial because Germany are third and Spain are fourth. So, I mean, Spain are better than Germany, aren't they? You'd think.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I'm interested to see. Is it the players from each league?
I don't fully understand it. It's you get certain points from what. So if England have 10 players from the Premier League, they'll get so many points based on that.
Okay.
I believe it works that way anyway.
Okay.
But Opta have valued France's squad as being the most valuable, 1.33 billion. So they've got the most valuable squad. Obviously, they got the likes of Desire Doué, they got Mbappe. They have got some very expensive players. Yeah, Dembele. England are second, 1.14 billion. Got Jude, Kane, Gay, Royce, yeah. And Spain are third at 1.1 bill. So you would expect them. I think that's why, to be fair, all three of them teams are the favourite because we have got the most expensive squad values based off player ability and, the managers of all of them teams. But yeah, in fact, it says here that France and Spain have the joint most valuable player at the tournament. Mbappe and Yamal are valued at 174.36 million. Now, remember, that's what they're valued at. So if they were ever sold, they would go for more than that. So that's, I don't even think Neymar in his peak hit that level of, again, there's inflation and stuff with it, but I don't think it was even that much. That's colossal numbers, isn't it? For especially the likes of Mbappe and Yamal, Yamal's not even 20 yet, is he?
No.
So that's massive. In the England squad, Jude's the most valuable player. He's ranked 7th overall, isn't he? Valued at 122 million. Now, let's flip this. The two lowest valued players at the tournament, right? There's two. Scotland's Craig Gordon, obviously the oldest player in the tournament. You sort of expect that. And Curaçao's Tyreek Bodak. Never heard of him, to be honest. But they're both valued at a whopping 21,800. So you compare that to the likes of Mbappe, who are valued at 174 million, and they're valued at 21,800. That's the sort of jump in ability and value we're talking about. It's sensational, really, isn't it? What, like,
How many Gordons could you get for one Mbappe?
that's a good question. A team full of
A team full of Craig Gordons.
you gotta be pushing on for over 100 easily. I can't do the maths. You might have to do the maths, but yeah, I dread to think I should have.
More than 100.
Yeah, it's way more than
Yeah.
100. But I also don't want to look bad at maths. But if we weren't filming, I'd get you to get your calculator out or count on you. Get your fingers out.
I think I'll be there a while, but yeah.
You would. The next bit was about the group of death. Obviously, we've covered that, haven't we? And who we reckon's going to go through. So next bit was the dark horse stories. Obviously, there's only two of us to do this, and I've sort of touched on mine already. So I chose South Korea on the basis of I think they've got a good team. They've got some good individual plays, and I think they work well as a unit. They look good against Czechia, and to come from a goal down in the World Cup to win 2-1, that shows good mentality, doesn't it? Good fighting spirit from them. And that's something I think some of the big teams can struggle with, especially with the pressure of the tournament. Is coming back from a goal down. So I think that was good from them. Obviously, they got the likes of Sean-Min Son, Paik Sung-ho, Kangin Lee. He was another good player. Is it PSG he's at now, I believe? He had a great game. I mean, here's the stats from that game. They had 15 shots to Czechia's 8. And they had 62% possession and nearly had 100 more passes. No, nearly had 200 more passes than Czechia. But the main one was the pass accuracy. 70% pass accuracy for Czechia. It's not very good, is it, really, for Czechia are on a bad team, but 70% seems a bit wayward. So clearly that's where a lot of the keeping possession was going wrong from. I mean, what do Liverpool tend to average pass accuracy wise? It's got to be in the 80s, hasn't it? You'd think.
It's around, but it's like likes of them and Man City who got a lot of the ball majority of the time. It's around about the 70-80% ballpark, isn't it?
Yeah, 87% is very impressive though. So that, to be fair, it sort of covers mine. Who would your dark horse be then?
I think I think we've touched on them a little bit earlier. I think Morocco would be mine. I wouldn't say necessarily they'll go all the way to the final. Obviously, they got to the semi-finals. Was it the last Euros or it was the last World Cup? Was it, or the Euros? I think.
Yeah.
No, sorry.
It wasn't the Euros, was it?
Would have been the Euros.
Do you need some geography lessons?
Sort of the last World Cup, they got to the semis, didn't they? And obviously they got to the final of the AFCON.
Do you know why? Because they're in Africa.
Yeah, that would do it. Yeah, sorry, my geography is horrendous. Yeah, it's like you said. You touched on some of the players that they've got there. Hakimi, that midfielder they had yesterday. What's his name?
Ayub Bouardi.
Yeah, Bouardi.
He's only 19.
Well, I thought he was French.
He probably can play for France.
Yeah, I mean, I know Arsenal are linked with him, but he was terrific.
Fantastic.
And they had that striker that's been linked with going to PSG. That the one who scored yesterday for Morocco.
Be honest, I can't remember his name.
But he looks really good as well. They've got a good nucleus of players there. That
it's a fairly young team as well.
Yeah, a fairly young team. The sort of team that you do not want to come up against. No. Because in a one-off game, you wouldn't be surprised if they beat you. So, yeah, I would say Morocco. Or a couple of decent shouts. Maybe Senegal might be a dark horse. And as much as you touched on them earlier with the golden generation of players that they had at the time, Belgium might be a decent shout as well for someone that could go. In there.
I can see Morocco going further than Belgium, to be honest.
Yeah.
But that'd be interesting. Obviously, there's 4 World Cup debutants this World Cup with there being a new format. Cape Verde, Curacao, Jordan, and Uzbekistan. Out of them 4 teams that are playing in their first ever World Cup, who's going to do the best? Do you think? Can you see any of them getting out the groups? First of all, I think
No.
right. Who's going to accumulate the most points then?
I wouldn't be able to. I wouldn't be able to tell you, mate.
I think I'd go Uzbekistan on the basis of Kusanov plays for them, and I think they've got. I mean, Jordan. I couldn't name you a single Jordanese player. Curacao have the likes of like Janino Bacuna, Leandro Bacuna, Tahith Chong. Only know them because they played for Blues. Couldn't really name you any more than that. And then Cape Verde again. Couldn't name you any. Uzbekistan probably on paper have the best squad. Like you said, I don't think they'll get out the groups, but I can see them picking up a point at most.
Yeah, I'm going to say, yeah, I wouldn't be able to tell you any of the players that have played for any of these teams. I mean, if you Curacao, I mean, I know they got the goal today. Was it Curacao that just played Germany?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I can't see any of those teams getting into their groups, to be honest. Even if I know the third place thing's an option.
But you're not going to go, even if they get 1 point and came third, that's not going to.
None of these, I don't think, are coming out of their groups. No.
So, what minute are we on now? We're on about the 46 minutes. So, we'll start to wrap this up. But my last question for you is, do you think experience will play a big part in this World Cup? Because, obviously, younger players are going to be wanting to impress, they're a bit more athletic, but they lack experience in them big game moments, don't they? You start getting further and further into the tournament, nerves kick in. How important do you think experience is? We sort of touched on it earlier, didn't we, with Wrexham in the Championship. Is it as important in the World Cup as it is in a league setting?
I think so, yes. I think if you've been there and done it before, I think that it's got to play differently because you've got the mentality for it, and 2, because you've been in that situation before, you know what to expect, and you sort of like, depending on the game scenario, you can sort of like say, say like you say, you've got a younger player that's not been in that situation, don't know how to deal with it. One of the older players that's been there and done that, say, look, you just got to hang in there for maybe 5-10 minutes, depending on how the situation's going, or say, look, put an arm around the shoulder and say, actually, we're going to be all right here. Just hang on out for 5-10 minutes. We'll be all right. Just, don't stress about it too much. I think, having that experience will definitely help. And obviously, the likes of Spain and France, the ones that are the favourites, one of the reasons they're the favourites is because they've been there, they've done it. I mean, you look at the so-called younger ones now, the likes of Mbappe, he's already won a World Cup.
Yep. I mean, we said last episode he's nearly broke the all-time World Cup scoring record as well.
The likes of Yamal, he's just won a Euros. Yeah. These are the so-called younger players as well, and they've got a lot of experience on the head because they've been there and won it and done these things now. So yes, I think experience will definitely have a big part to play in it. And even England, for example, I know they've obviously got to 2 finals, haven't won it, but the experience of being to those finals and saying, actually, okay, this is to do this, we need to make that next step by doing this.
Well, we've arguably got 4 leaders as well in that England team, so that can only be positive. We've got more leaders than we've ever have had in the past. Spain, again, one of the favourites, actually have the 6th youngest squad in the tournament, averaging about 26 years and 2 months, right? England and France, exactly the same. They're joint 14th, 26 years and 6 months. So we've gone for a very middle of the park in terms of age, some older than others. France are a lot younger. Spain are a lot younger. I can see that only being a positive for England. We've got a good balance of youth. We've got a good balance of experience. We've got players like Kane, leader. Royce has obviously been made vice captain. Jude is going to be captain material, God knows how many years. Conser, he's not. He's vice captain for Villa, is he?
28, isn't he?
Yeah, is he vice captain for
Yeah,
Villa?
I think so.
You got Gahey, you got Pickford. All of these are solid leaders. I've probably missed one or two.
Henderson's well,
Oh yeah, Henderson. Yeah, exactly. But I don't think he'll be on the. He'll be good, behind the scenes. But I think that can only be positive for England, can't it? Really. So to answer the question, I think experience is going to be very important for England and for any team, to be honest. But it's how our leaders manage the pressure of what stage we're in and how they mentor the younger ones.
I think that's one of the reasons why Tuchel brought in the likes of Jordan Henderson, even if he's not necessarily starting the game, just because he's got the experience.
Yeah.
I mean, he's won the Premier League, he's obviously won the Champions League, he's won things.
Yeah.
And having players that are just around the camp, that have been there and done it, will only be a positive thing.
Exactly.
And obviously, like the players that you've just touched on there, Harry Kane's won things now. Ezri Konsa has just won the Europa League. Declan Rice has just won the Premier League. You've got winners in that team now, and to touch on the age thing, you've got a good balance of young players, but you've got like the so-called senior players that, like Henderson in his early 30s, or Harry Kane early 30s, Declan Rice late 20s. It's a very good blend, and I think that can only benefit England.
It can. Now, I have an apology to make, because last episode we were talking about the oldest, youngest players at the tournament. I actually got my facts wrong, which I think is the first time I've done it. So last week I said that the oldest manager at the World Cup this year was Ghana manager Carlos Queiroz. He was 73. It is actually, in fact, ex-Rangers and Sunderland boss, who I didn't even know was managing Curacao, Dick Advocaat. And he's 78 years old, and that's the oldest in World Cup history, not just for this tournament, in the history of the World That's a great feat for a 78-year-old, isn't it, going to the World Cup? But yeah, Dick Advocaat, I didn't even know he was.
Manager, wasn't
Yeah, that's what it says. Rangers and Sunderland manager, yeah. In fact, talking of managers, and sad news about Kenny Jackett passing away. So from everyone that's Scouting for Goals, we pass on our regards to the Jackett family. He was Wolves manager, weren't he?
Yes, he was.
Yeah. So, why are you laughing at the? Is it because we said Jackett family? Oh my God, he's lost it again. This is what we have to put up with. Something not funny. It was meant to be a serious moment, that Ryan. Bloody hell. Anyway, what we'll do is we'll start wrapping this episode up. We hope you like the new setup. It's absolutely gone. We hope you enjoyed the new setup. Obviously next week this won't be a thing. Hopefully this mic, and we'll have the new stuff ready. And there should be three of us, shouldn't there, next week? I think Dean's back. So yeah, all three of us should be here. We'll have a new mic, and hopefully the quality of that. Bella, can you get it together? Oh my God. And yeah, just let us know if you preferred this version of the podcast with the camera and obviously the mics, but again, it'd be better next week. Or whether you prefer not seeing our ugly mugs and just listening to the analysis and stuff of not seeing our faces, because when Ryan loses it, I can't, what am I supposed to be doing, man? Absolutely shocking. But no, so you enjoyed this episode, didn't you?
I've enjoyed it, yes.
We had a bit of stress before it started, but I think we'd send it up all right, hasn't it? The camera's sound. I know this mic's been a bit of a pain, my arm's aching, but that's been all right, hasn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I've really enjoyed this type of pod today, so yeah, I'm looking forward to the next couple of weeks.
Have you preferred this to not having the camera on?
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, I think it's a lot better.
Mm.
And I'm really looking forward to what you've got set up for us for the next couple of weeks.
Just hope the sound quality is as good as this one. But as I said, we're still in the teething stages, aren't we? We're having a few issues here and there. With just timetables and stuff not working out. Our Dean was fine up until about 12 o'clock today and then pulled out. We didn't even know if you were going to be able to do it at one point, so we're lucky we've got this episode in. But we're getting there. A lot of these teething problems have been ironed out slowly, haven't they? And now the World Cup's on, we've got a bit more content to talk about rather than just waffling about England players for an hour. But no, anything else you want to add on before?
I think I was going to ask you a question myself. I was going to ask you regarding the World Cup, what your standout player was going to be for the tournament. In terms of who you think's going to be the main player to watch
For England or any team?
For anyone who's the player that's going to really set this World Cup alight.
Can I say two?
Yeah,
Yamal. I think he'll be Spain's key player, and Harry Kane. I think Harry Kane will be top. He'll get Golden Boot this tournament. I think the form he's been in has been fantastic. So I can't see anyone beating him to Golden Boot unless we went out in the group stages, obviously. So I would say them two personally. But no, nice question. That well done, and you didn't laugh.
Yeah,
fantastic. So what we'll do is then we'll wrap up here, and hopefully we'll have Dean back next week. So yeah, until then, it's bye from me.
And goodbye from me.
Till next week.
Got it.